Alright, hello everyone. I'm here to show you the progress. I mean, the concept and thing I'm working on, and show you my and tell you about my ideas and stuff for this project. So I'm gonna close it real quick, and I want to talk to you about this thing that we don't have in dreams, which would be really cool to have. And it is a way to save text. Now, unfortunately, we are not able to make we would never be able to make something we really want. Something we really want. Like, we would never be able to make a text gadget. Yeah. So we would never be able to make a text gadget which you can set the text with not actually maybe, but it doesn't matter. So what I'm trying to say is that we would never be able to make a text gadget with which we can set a the text of the text gadget without using a keyframe or animation. We would never be able to make that through logic. We might, but like text input would still be cool. So what about you want a RPG character name? So what about I want my character in my RPG to be able to have a name the player chooses? Well, I'm working on it. The idea is it's sadly not dreams persistent, and I really hope Media Molecule stop limiting the remove the limit of the amount of persistent variables in a dream, because a persistent or at least make it higher, because a persistent variable is very handy if you will need a lot if you want to make a giant RPG, and you might want to save the name of the character and make that work through the scenes, through the dream. So the problem with that is, okay, so that won't work. You will need to use persistent variables for that, and a lot. But still, you could still use, let me think. You could still use some simple, no, okay, wait. I still have found a way, let me think, to save text data, and I think it's kind of cool, and I wanted to share it with the world. So, what way? Well, first of all, we need input, so I'm gonna give some credit. The credit goes to Acer for making this amazing keyboard, and I'm gonna show it in game. So how it works, yeah, this, it's really nice. The keys have a nice layout, it's QWERTY, it's epic. So you can just type. Only thing I don't like, damn, that's a problem. Anyways, let me try this. No, never mind. Okay. That does not work anymore, but yeah. Alright, so this is a nice keyboard. He made it, and it works. It's great. And that problem might be my fault, so yeah. I hope it's my fault. I mean, I do not, but yeah. Okay. So, what about if I want to save the data and read it later, like a variable? Well, I propose a physical RAM. Now, physical RAM in Dreams, as I define it, is a way of storing data without using without putting in the chips and using variables. It works by placing different blocks. See all these blocks? These are all characters. All characters for which they all store data for a character. They can be either space, which I might not use, or they can be ABC, D, F, G, etc. So it can be any letter of the alphabet, any of these blocks. So this is Z, A, B, C, D, yeah, okay. So this is Z, this is Y, this is X, and all the way on the top, there is A. So you saw me just click on labels. Now I want to talk about a bit of complex stuff, but it's a bit complex, but yeah. So what I do this, you might be wondering how I store the data inside a block without using any logic, because I have my X-ray on. You can see. I'm not using any logic. What I'm doing is I'm saying, alright, now I want to store 27 characters because I want the space, but yeah, let's just say 26. What I'm doing, and oh wait, and then the next thing I want to do is I want to be able to read it. Now I can't, and I need to have. I mean, you could use logic, I think, maybe, but it really is not efficient. So what you could do, so you have all these options. You can only use this, only this. What about this? So what you see here is labels. Now count how many labels there are. They are 8 labels. In computer science, I mean, like in computers, you have ones and zeros. Those are bits. Alright, those are bits. They can be on and off, 0 or 1. This is also on or off. You see? Now, if I want to, now you might be thinking, how could I use that? Well, 8 is a byte. You have 8 bits is a byte. With a byte, you can store 256, I think. You have 256 different combinations. And we need 26. So that's enough. How do you do that? Well, you grab this, a bunch of Laserscopes, or what they are called. Let me check. Yeah, I'm blind. I can't. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's a Laserscope. Alright. So, I have these Laserscopes. Each one checks for the corresponding label. This one checks for target, this one checks for friend. I think. Now, You can also just check if everything, and I have this bank of stuff which you can just have these calculators, and maybe I'm using it wrong. Maybe you could just put this and that, these outputs in that, but I'm just using this for security. So what I have is a bunch of AND gates. These all are literally kind of like if statements, but basic. So what it does is it says, all right, I mean, no, wait. I might be wrong, but so if this one is on and this one is not, these are all the NOT gates. So if not, if so, if you want to check if A is true, then we just say, okay, is A on? Do we detect the label A, only label A? Then we say, all right. Do we not detect all the other labels? Then we say, all right. We've got ourselves A block, data block, node, whatever. I haven't used these yet, but I am gonna. They are very handy to just read. Now, what about writing, you might say? Well, so, I mean, other thing is just like, okay, so a quick recap. I mean, like, the only thing I'm gonna say is all these wires, for all these AND gates, you need a different combination. So this one, and I have just done a few patterns in a frame by frame style. So each AND gate further up has a different pattern, has a next iteration of the pattern, but yeah. All right, let me think. Okay, so that's good, and it works. Hopefully, I think it will. Now I have this thing. It's it's compatible only with this keyboard. There are a few on the Dreamweaver, but this keyboard is the best in my opinion. So I'm just gonna use this one. Yeah. So every time somebody writes, this one thing moves, and it emits the corresponding data node or something. I'm just thinking of fancy names. So we have this emitter, emits the first one of these blocks, as I told in the beginning, and it just checks. All right, because here you receive the letter ID, which can be from 0.1 to 2.6. Z and A. So it just goes like that. And one problem I'm trying to fix is that it's not making the first letter. I'm gonna fix that later, but yeah. So this is what I'm working on, and this is my idea that might help people with some kind of problem. And I hope people will try experimenting with it, because in my opinion, it might be a good way to store data if you need to. I mean, yeah. So yeah, it won't be saved. It's only one time. It's RAM, so when the dream gets exited, all it gets wiped. No, actually, I don't know. I might be wrong, but who cares? It might still save. I don't know. Would be great though. So, because some scenes have that saving. I mean, okay, But anyways, that was it for that was what I wanted to show, and bye. Thanks for watching my video.